All right, so if you've tried to buy one of these, then you know the struggle. Is it better to be readily available like a name brand guitar, or to be higher quality but ultra rare? And how does the customer experience factor in? All right, and just real quick, this isn't directed at any particular brand, these thoughts and ideas. This is just for the industry as a whole. Like, I know my experiences are influenced by the brands I've purchased instruments from, but like every company is facing their own issues and challenges, so this isn't really targeted at anyone. This isn't like blaming anyone or for anything or trying to spread hate. These are just like ideas for the future. So these are my thoughts in like maybe what companies might do in the future or what companies can do in the future. Heck, maybe if we go start our own company, this is what we can do in the future. So I'm holding these guitars in this video, but they're kind of more for a prop. So recently I tried to get an Abasi ME6 and spoiler alert, it was impossible. You know, I've been liking the Space T. I kind of want something a bit different, maybe a double cut. But the way they do their drops, basically you show up to the website on the release time, it hasn't updated yet, a minute later it's updated, and then 10 seconds later they're gone. So name brands like Ibanez, they're more readily available. They're a bigger, more established company. There's dealers all over the place. There's replacement parts all over the place. There's lots of testimonials. People have used them on stage, on tour, all around the world for years. So if you want some information on there, it's out there. If you're trying to buy them, they're out there. On top of that, if you're looking to do a modification, maybe like replace pickups, find wiring diagrams, etc., they're out there. So these name brands, these long-lasting brands, they've been around a while and they're pretty stable. Like you can guarantee that this year, next year, the years after that, there's always going to be some Fenders, some Ibanez, some Gibsons sitting around that you can buy. But also because they're stable, they're not very agile. They can't shift quickly or come out with new models quickly. Heck, even the J Custom, the top of the line Ibanez, still comes with the nickel silver frets. It doesn't come with the stainless steel, although recent Prestiges do have the stainless steel frets. Now, limited run guitars from smaller like boutique brands like Abasi, there's definitely a cool factor. Although love it or hate it, maybe not everyone likes the Space T. Or maybe you're looking for something a mainstream brand won't do, like a crazy extended range instrument. You can get stuff that the mainstream brands, the name brands, won't even try yet when you go the limited release, like smaller boutique brand route. However, they only have limited drops. So if something happens to this, I'm toast. I can't just go down to Guitar Center and get another Abasi Concepts guitar. Not yet anyway, at the time of this video recording. I was looking to get an ME6. And the fact of the matter was, even if it's not just me, even if there's people out there with money in hand willing to buy a guitar, and they'll definitely buy a guitar, there's just no stock available. You can look at Solar guitars and they've gone the more mass-produced approach. You know, they've recently dropped S by Solar. They've had their made in Indonesia line with their 1 and 2 series. Basically, you can always get a Solar. In fact, they're dropping new colors every Friday of every week, I'm pretty sure. So that's great. If you're a fan of Solar, you can just go and buy one. You know, they're online. They've got the estimated when things are going to ship, when things are going to come back in stock. There's always stock. Of course, then they don't have that kind of custom shop, boutique quality. Not that I'm knocking Indonesian guitars, clearly I'm a fan. But the Solars are always around, and recently they have started doing the Made in Europe drops too. And so they've been doing more kind of like a mix, where you can get guitars that are readily available, and they've been branching out to have the more boutique quality stuff. And I've noticed by looking at their website that the boutique quality stuff does stay in stock for a while. It doesn't just immediately sell out. Whether there's less demand for it or if they have more stock, I'm not entirely sure, but it is nice to know that when these things do come in stock, you'll have a fair chance of buying one instead of scrambling for seconds. But then there's also the downside to the mass-produced approach, where you might end up with low-quality issues that'll spread rumors, that'll have like a kind of shadow over your brand. Like a while back, the Solar, there's the whole controversy about the cracked fretboards. I've had a few Solars and none of my fretboards have cracked. I oil them like twice a year, but I've seen online that lots of people have had issues. Maybe I'm just the luckiest guy in the world, but I haven't had any of these issues. But the point is, when you're not doing like the top tier quality stuff. There can be quality control issues here and there. So what's best? Is it better to be high quality and frustratingly difficult to get, or maybe compromise a bit on the quality to be a bit more mass produced, to be more readily available? So if you want one, you can get one. In the case of the Abasi guitars, it's probably because they have this futuristic radical shape that they have to go the more custom shop route. So to be clear, I'm not blaming Abasi guitars for their limited inventory or anything. Again, this isn't like aimed at anybody in particular. This is just like a summary of what I've experienced and my ideas for the future. The question of whether you should be more mass produced or more custom shop is a difficult one. Also because I know Abasi has the Legion series, which is supposed to be more mass produced. But the thing is, I've had a few of those and I've ended up selling them because the neck profile, frankly, is different than what's on the Space T, than what's on the Master Series. And just to my hand, it didn't really feel too comfortable. That's a more like, it's going to vary from person to person, but nonetheless. So what are my thoughts? Which, by the way, I'm interested in your thoughts too, so leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. But what are my thoughts? Like, what's the way forward? Well, I think we're in kind of like a special era of social media where now more than ever you can connect with your fans and your customers. Granted, this is the internet we're talking about, so what these people have to say might not. There goes another pick. Granted, these are people on the internet, so of course not all of these people will have constructive things to say, but this is still a golden opportunity, I think. Now more than ever is the perfect opportunity to break the mold, not just be a distant entity where people have to only dream about getting what they want from them, not just hope for future releases, things like that, but at the very least open up some kind of dialogue. I'm sure we've all experienced artificial intelligence or AI recently with chat bots dealing with you whenever you need some customer service things. I think we can drive things forward with not just using this kind of technology to deal with people, but to help with people, but not just AI too. This isn't just an AI is great kind of rant. I think in general, even just like if you're on YouTube, like the community posts, like the polls where you vote them, then you can see the percentage. I think if companies would do something like that, like what if we could release a certain model next month or like next year, or like what would you be interested in, just to gauge the customer feedback, but also show them that they're being heard. The important thing about the community posts is that you can see what other people have voted for. So maybe showing the customer like, oh, hey, this is what other people thought too. That would go a long way. Because, reviews are one thing, but like to see what the people want, that would be something interesting. It would show companies like what's on the wish list, but it would also show the customers, okay, our feedback, our wants are not just going into the trash. Heck, maybe even if they are. It wouldn't be 100% accurate because, of course, people could just go to these polls and just vote for whatever they want. And who knows, maybe because this is the internet, maybe groups of people would get involved and totally skew the votes of a poll. That is a possibility I recognize. But now's the time to try. We're pushing boundaries with our music, like using AI in our plugins and our limiting and our EQ. We're using AI in our chatbots and customer support. We're stepping up our customer support levels, hopefully. We're connecting with our audience more and more, communicating in comments, in polls. Basically, what I think is now is the prime time to connect to the fans and the customers and to let them know they're heard. So basically, whichever method of selling guitars, bringing it back as, that you choose between the mass-produced or like the one-off limited release drops, sometimes that's in the control of the company, sometimes it's not. Maybe the design isn't possible to be mass-produced yet. But like finding that communication and pioneering new levels of engagement, I think that is the future that we should go for. And if anything, that can alleviate the frustration of not getting the guitar you want. So what do you guys think? Do you think this was a good discussion? Are these all just hot takes that are going to get me canceled? What are your thoughts on this? What do you guys think? Be sure to leave your comments in the comment section below. If you liked what I had to say, leave a like. If you think I'm just full of hot air, leave a dislike. Usually I do music, so subscribe if you want to hear some guitar playing. And as always, peace.